Is it possible to be friends with a pick-me girl? My roommate Jenna was the definition of a pick-me girl, always talking about how she was different from other women, how she loved sports and video games, and wasn't like those dramatic females who wore makeup every day. At parties, she'd be the one making jokes about how girls were crazy, and she just got along better with guys. I'd known her since freshman year and honestly thought it was just an annoying personality trait. The kind of thing you tolerate in a friend because she was loyal and split rent on time and always returned your clothes. But then I started noticing something weird about her behavior. She didn't do the pick-me act around every guy, only specific ones. At our friend group hangouts, Jenna would be completely normal, chill, funny, not putting on any kind of show. But then certain guys would show up and it was like a switch flipped. She'd suddenly get super giggly and start touching their arms and making comments about how she wasn't high maintenance like other girls. The strange part was which guys triggered this behavior. They weren't the hottest guys or the most popular. They seemed random. Tyler from our biology class, some guy named Marcus who worked at the campus bookstore, another guy named Eric who I'd seen around but didn't really know. I started paying closer attention. Every time one of these specific guys was around, Jenna transformed into full pick-me mode. But with other guys, including some who were objectively more attractive and successful, she acted totally normal. It didn't make sense. One night I asked her why she only acted like that around certain people. She got defensive immediately, saying I was imagining things and she was just being friendly. But her face went pale when I mentioned Tyler's name specifically. 2 weeks later, I ran into Tyler at the library. He looked uncomfortable when I said hi and mentioned I was Jenna's roommate. He asked me a question that made my stomach drop. Is Jenna okay? Like, is she getting help or talking to anyone? I asked what he meant and Tyler looked around like he was worried someone would overhear. He said Jenna had been messaging him constantly for months, following him between classes, showing up at places she'd somehow known he'd be. He'd blocked her number, but she kept making new accounts. When I got back to our apartment, I started thinking about the other guys. Marcus from the bookstore, Eric. I'd seen Jenna's location sharing turned on in our roommate app, so I checked her history from the past few months. The pattern was impossible to miss. She'd been going to the bookstore every single day, sometimes multiple times, always during Marcus's shifts. She'd been at the gym at the exact times Eric worked out, even though Jenna never went to the gym before. The coffee shop where another guy worked. The route Tyler walked to his car. I confronted her that night asking why she was following these guys around. Jenna's face went from shock to angry to something else. Something cold. She asked me how long I'd been tracking her location. I said I was worried about her, that this wasn't normal behavior. That's when she told me they all deserved it. Every single one of them. I asked what she meant by deserved it, and she pulled out her phone and showed me a group chat I'd never seen before. It had names I recognized. Tyler, Marcus, Eric, 3 other names I didn't know. Then I saw the name at the top of the chat. My brother's name, Kyle. The chat was from 2 years ago. I started scrolling and felt sick reading the messages. They were talking about a girl, about what they'd done to her at a party, about making sure she wouldn't tell anyone, about how drunk she'd been and how easy it was. Jenna was staring at me with an expression I'd never seen before. That girl was my little sister, she said quietly. She killed herself 6 months after that party. The police said there wasn't enough evidence to press charges, so I decided to handle it myself. I looked at her location history again. All those places she'd been going, all those times she'd been following these guys, learning their routines, their schedules, where they went when they were alone. And that's when I saw tomorrow's date circled on her calendar with one word written next to it. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below. I stare at the calendar, at that single word next to tomorrow's date, start. My mouth goes dry as the implications hit me. What does that mean? I whisper, my finger hovering over the word. Jenna, what are you planning to do? Jenna takes the calendar from my trembling hands and places it back on the wall with deliberate care. Her movements are precise, controlled nothing like the giggly, arm-touching pick-me girl I've witnessed around Tyler and the others. Justice, she says simply. I've been planning this for almost a year, learning their patterns, their weaknesses, where they go when they're alone. She walks to her desk and pulls out a stack of notebooks from the bottom drawer. One for each of them. She hands me the top notebook. Tyler's name is written on the cover in neat block letters. Inside are pages of meticulously documented observations, class schedules, work shifts, gym routines, favorite bars, even the names of girls he's been seen with. There are photographs paper-clipped to certain pages. Tyler entering his apartment building, Tyler at the campus coffee shop, Tyler laughing with friends outside the library. Jesus, Jenna, I breathe, flipping through the pages. This is thorough, she offers. I had to be. They were thorough with my sister. I set Tyler's notebook down and pick up another. Marcus, then Eric, then 3 more with names I recognize from the group chat. Each one contains the same level of detailed surveillance. My stomach lurches when I reach the last notebook. Kyle's name stares up at me. My brother. I can't bring myself to open it. What are you going to do to them? I ask, my voice barely audible. What they deserve, Jenna says. Her face is completely calm, which somehow makes it more terrifying. They took everything from my sister. Her dignity, her peace, eventually, her life. You can't, I start, but the words stick in my throat. Jenna, if you hurt them, I'm not going to kill them, she interrupts. Death would be too quick, too merciful. She takes Kyle's notebook from my hands and opens it. I want them to live with what they did. I want everyone to know what kind of monsters they are. I feel physically ill looking at the pages documenting my brother's life. This woman I've lived with for years has been stalking Kyle, tracking his movements, planning something. And according to that group chat, he deserves it. Please, I say, swallowing hard. There has to be another way. Go to the police again. Show them the group chat. Jenna laughs, but there's no humor in it. You think I haven't tried that? The police said there wasn't enough evidence, that the chat was inconclusive, that my sister was drunk and couldn't remember clearly what happened. Her voice cracked slightly. They said she waited too long to report it, that her story changed, that she was probably just regretful about consensual sex. I sink onto the couch, trying to process everything. Your sister left a suicide note? Jenna nods, her composure slipping for the first time. She named all 6 of them, said she couldn't live with the shame anymore, that no one believed her. She pulls out her phone. I found the group chat afterward when I was going through her thing things. She'd taken screenshots but was too afraid to use them. IDLS. Can I see it again? I ask, not wanting to but knowing I need to. Jenna hesitates, then hands me her phone. I force myself to scroll through the messages, to really read them this time. The casual cruelty is staggering. They talk about Jenna's sister like she's not even human, like what they did was some kind of game. And there's Kyle's name, over and over, suggesting they give her more to drink, laughing about how she was crying, telling Marcus to take his turn, saying he got it all on video. My brother filmed it. I run to the bathroom and vomit until there's nothing left. When I come back, Jenna is sitting exactly where I left her, watching me with those cold, evaluating eyes. Now you know, she says. Now you understand why I've been doing this, why I've been pretending to be someone I'm not around them. I needed to get close. I needed them to trust me. What happens tomorrow? I ask, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. The website goes live, she says. Every screenshot, every piece of evidence, their full names, addresses, workplaces, the police reports that went nowhere, my sister's suicide note, everything. I think about Kyle, my brother who taught me to ride a bike, who helped me move into my first apartment, who I've loved my entire life. I think about what he did, what he encouraged others to do, what he filmed. They'll sue you for defamation, I say weakly. Let them try, Jenna replies. Truth is an absolute defense, and I have the truth. I sit back down, my legs too shaky to hold me. What do you want from me? Nothing, she says. This isn't your fight, but now you know why I've been acting the way I have, why I've been following them. I'm not crazy. I'm not obsessed. I'm just a sister who couldn't save her own sister, but can make damn sure those men never hurt anyone else again. But anyone Setter and Reitman decided. I'm just a sister who couldn't save her anyone else again. But anyone a self for men of the persons in the man. I look at the notebook spread across the coffee table, at the calendar with tomorrow's date circled, at Jenna's face determined, grieving, resolute. I think about Kyle and what he's done. What he helped do, what he recorded, and I realize I'm standing at a crossroads. I can warn my brother, try to protect him from what's coming, or I can stand with Jenna and let justice take its course, however painful that might be for my family. I need to think, I say finally, standing up. My whole body feels numb. I need some air. Jenna nods. Take all the time you need, but remember tomorrow, it starts, and after that nothing will be the same. I walk to the door on unsteady legs, my mind racing with impossible choices, my brother or justice, family loyalty or moral clarity, the past I thought I knew or the ugly truth I can't unknow. As I step outside, my phone buzzes in my pocket, a text from Kyle. Hey sis, wanna grab lunch tomorrow? Need to talk to you about something important. I stare at the message, my thumb hovering over the screen, and wonder which side of history I want to be on when tomorrow comes. I slip outside our apartment, my phone clutched in my hand like a lifeline. Kyle's text message glows on the screen, mocking me with its normalcy. How can he ask about lunch like nothing's wrong? Like he didn't participate in something that drove a young woman to suicide? My fingers hover over the keyboard before I make a decision. I need to hear his voice. Need to know if there's any explanation that could possibly make this okay. I dial his number before I can talk myself out of it. Hey sis. Kyle sounds cheerful when he answers. Did you get my text? I was thinking we could try that new ramen place tomorrow. Hey sis. Kyle, I say, my voice barely audible. I need to ask you something. There's a pause. Everything okay? You sound weird. Do you know a girl named Allison? I ask, Jenna's sister. The name feels heavy on my tongue. The silence that follows tells me everything. When Kyle finally speaks, his voice has dropped to a whisper. Who told you about her? My stomach lurches. So it's true? What exactly did you hear? His voice has changed completely, panic edging into every syllable. I saw the group chat, Kyle. The one with Tyler, Marcus, Eric, and the others. I saw what you all said about her. Fuck. The word comes out like he's been punched. Listen, it wasn't things went too far that night. We were all drunk and you filmed it. My voice breaks. Your own messages said you filmed it. Where are you getting this information? Kyle's voice rises. Who's been talking to you? Her sister is my roommate, I say. Jenna, the sound Kyle makes is something between a gasp and a sob. You need to stay away from her. She's been following us, showing up at our jobs, our apartments. She's not stable. Can you blame her? I snap. After what you all did, you don't understand. Then help me understand, Kyle. Tell me it's not true. Tell me you didn't assault that girl and film it and laugh about it afterward. His silence is deafening. I need to go, he finally says. We should talk in person, not over the phone. Kyle, I'll come by your place tomorrow, okay? We can figure this out. He hangs up before I can tell him that tomorrow will be too late, that Jenna's plan starts tomorrow, that everything is about to change. I stand there in the parking lot, shaking. My brother didn't deny it. He didn't even try. Instead of going back inside, I walk to my car. I need to know more, need to understand who these men really are before Jenna's website goes live tomorrow. I start with Tyler's Instagram. His profile is public, of course. It is. He wants the attention. I scroll through photos of parties, gym selfies, and group shots with friends. But what catches my eye is the pattern in his comments, the way he tags women, the possessive language, the subtle put-downs disguised as jokes. In one post, a girl commented that she wasn't feeling well at a party, and his response was, "Next time, don't be such a lightweight, lol." I move on to Facebook, where I find Marcus and Eric are both members of the same fraternity. Their event photos show the same parties, the same crowds. I find 3 instances where they specifically mentioned special private parties that were invitation only. My research continues for hours, parked in my car with my phone battery draining. The more I dig, the more sick I feel. These aren't isolated incidents or misunderstandings. There's a pattern here. When I finally return to the apartment, Jenna is sitting at the kitchen table, her laptop open. "Where have you been?" she asks, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Just needed some air," I say, but I can tell she doesn't believe me. "Did you call him?" she asks bluntly. I hesitate, then nod. He didn't deny it. Of course he didn't. Jenna closes her laptop. "You shouldn't have warned him." "I didn't warn him," I say, though guilt flares in my chest. I needed to hear it from him, and now he knows that I told you, that I have evidence. He already knew you were following him, I counter. He said you've been showing up at their jobs, their apartments. Jenna's expression doesn't change. I needed to document their patterns. For the website, I sit down across from her. "About that, what exactly are you planning?" "I told you." Public exposure. Has my nay just exposure? Not. I trail off, not wanting to say the word violence. Jenna gives me a long look. What did you think I was going to do? I shrug uncomfortably. The way you've been tracking them, the detailed notebooks. It seemed like you might be planning something more physical. For the first time, Jenna laughs. It's a hollow sound. I'm not going to kill them if that's what you're asking. That would be too easy. She opens her laptop again. No, I want them to live with what they did. I want everyone in their lives to know. Their families, their employers, their girlfriends. It turns the screen toward me. It's a website, professionally designed with a black background and white text. The headline reads, "The truth about Allison Miller's assault." Below are 6 photographs, 6 names, including my brother's. It goes live at 8 a.m. tomorrow, Jenna says, along with all the evidence, the group chat, the police reports, statements from other victims. Other victims? I repeat. You think Allison was the only one? Jenna's voice is bitter. Since I started this, 3 other women have contacted me with similar stories about these same men. I've added their testimonials to the site. My phone buzzes with a notification. An email from Kyle, subject line, urge, check this. I open it to find a link to his cloud storage. My hands shake as I click it. I want videos, dozens of them, each thumbnail showing a different girl, different setting. I click one at random and immediately close it, bile rising in my throat. He saved them all, I whisper. He kept videos. Jenna doesn't look surprised. Send me the link. I forward her the email without hesitation. My brother is a stranger to me now. At 8 a.m. the next morning, I'm sitting beside Jenna when she presses publish on the website. By noon, the story has spread across campus like wildfire. By evening, the university has launched an official investigation, and 2 more women have come forward with their own stories. My phone has been ringing constantly. Kyle, my parents, mutual friends. I've answered none of them. Instead, I sit with Jenna as she moderates comments on the website, posts updates, and responds to media inquiries. Are you okay? She asks me softly, after we've watched the local news report about the campus sexual assault scandal. No, I admit, but I'm where I need to be. The truth hurts, but silence hurts more. And tomorrow, when Kyle shows up looking for me, I'll be ready to face him with the truth we both now know. My phone rings for the 20th time in the last hour. Kyle's name flashes on the screen, and I finally answer, my stomach nodding as I press the phone to my ear. What the fuck did you do? His voice is shrill, unrecognizable. I have to hold the phone away from my ear. My life is ruined. Do you understand that? Ruined. Kyle, I'm getting death threats. My boss called me into his office. Mom and dad are freaking out. The university is launching an investigation. Accounting 5s. His words tumble out in a panicked rush. That psycho roommate of yours, she posted everything. I look across the room at Jenna, who's calmly scrolling through responses to the website. 3 news outlets have already reached out for interviews. It's not just her website, Kyle, I say quietly. Your cloud account, the videos. Other women are coming forward. There's a moment of silence before he speaks again. His voice lower, but no less desperate. You don't understand what this means. This will follow me forever. I'll never get another job. I'll be on sex offender lists. Did you think about what would follow Allison forever? I interrupt. Before she killed herself, the line goes dead. He's hung up. 20 minutes later, my parents call. I take a deep breath before answering. Honey, what's going on? My mom's voice is strained. Kyle says your roommate has created some horrible website with lies about him. They're not lies, Mom. Of course they are. Your brother would never do something like this. He's a good boy. I close my eyes, picturing the videos I saw, the group chat messages. He admitted it to me, Mom. He didn't even deny it when I confronted him. He was probably just confused about what you were asking. Her voice hardens. This girl is obviously unstable. Kyle says she's been stalking him for months because her sister killed herself after what Kyle and his friends did to her. Hope your introspection. My father's voice cuts in, apparently on speakerphone. We're coming to get you. This roommate has filled your head with nonsense. We're going to fix this as a family. There's nothing to fix, Dad. What Kyle did was wrong. Criminal. You're choosing some stranger over your own brother? My mom's voice cracks. After everything we've done for you? I hang up, my hands shaking. Jenna watches me from across the room. Family's always the hardest part, she says softly. When Allison first told our parents what happened, they asked her what she was wearing that night. My phone buzzes with texts from my parents saying they're on their way to sort this out. I turn it off completely. The next morning, the university announces they've suspended all 6 men pending an official investigation. Tyler loses his internship at a tech company. Eric's girlfriend publicly breaks up with him on Instagram. The fraternity they belong to issues a statement condemning all forms of sexual violence. Jenna and I are sitting at our kitchen table when someone pounds on our apartment door. Open up. I know you're in there, Kyle's voice, slurred and angry. Jenna immediately pulls out her phone and starts recording. I peer through the peephole to see my brother, disheveled and swaying slightly, his eyes bloodshot. Go away, Kyle, I call through the door. You're drunk. Let me in. You're my sister. You're supposed to be on my side. I'm on the side of what's right, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. He pounds the door again, hard enough that the frame shakes. That bitch in there with you, the one who's ruining my life? I'm calling the police if you don't leave, Jenna says loudly, still recording. Kyle kicks the door, then we hear him stumbling down the hallway, cursing. 10 minutes later, the building manager calls to tell us someone tried to use a credit card to jimmy our lock while we were out yesterday. The security camera caught Kyle's face clearly. We file a police report. I feel hollow as I sign my name, officially documenting my brother's attempt to break into our apartment. That evening, Jenna receives a call from a number she doesn't recognize. She puts it on speaker. Is this Jenna Miller? A woman's voice, professional but gentle. Yes, who's this? Detective Sarah Lawson, County Police. I wanted to let you know we're officially reopening the investigation into your sister's assault case. Jenna's eyes fill with tears. What changed? The evidence on your website. The videos recovered from Kyle Bennett's cloud account. And she pauses. Marcus Whitfield attempted suicide last night after his employer terminated him. He left a confession note admitting everything. My stomach drops. Is he? He's alive. In the hospital under psychiatric observation. His statement corroborates everything in the group chat and adds details we didn't have before. After the call ends, Jenna sits silently for a long moment. I never wanted anyone to die, she finally says. I just wanted them to face consequences. This isn't your fault, I tell her. Marcus made his choices, just like all of them did. 2 days later, I drive to my parents' house. I need to face Kyle in person. Need him to look me in the eyes when he talks about what he did. My mother answers the door, her face drawn and tired. He's in his room, she says coldly. I hope you're happy with what you've done to this family. I find Kyle sitting on his bed, staring at his laptop screen, news articles about the investigation, his name in headlines. Why? I ask simply, standing in the doorway. He doesn't look up. You wouldn't understand. Try me. It was just supposed to be fun, he says, his voice hollow. Everyone was doing it. The older guys showed us. They had videos too. It was like a tradition. I feel sick. A tradition of assault? We didn't call it that. He finally looks at me, his eyes red-rimmed. She was just some drunk girl at a party. I didn't know her. I didn't know she'd kill herself. Would it have mattered if you did? What a people tacos. Kyle's face crumples, and for the first time since this all began, I see genuine remorse break through his defenses. I can't take it back, he whispers. I've lost everything. My job, my friends, my future. Allison lost her life, I remind him. He nods slowly, tears streaming down his face. I know that now. He takes a shuddering breath. When the police came this morning with a warrant, I told them everything. Every detail, every name, every video I knew about. I stand there looking at my brother, this person I've known my entire life, who now seems like a stranger, and realize some bridges can't be rebuilt once they're burned. Some actions change everything forever. I'm sorry, he says, though we both know it's not enough. It will never be enough. I turn to leave but pause at the door. The police are reopening Allison's case. They'll probably want to talk to you again. Kyle nods, defeated. I'll tell them the truth. All of it. As I walk away from my childhood home, I think about Jenna, about justice, about the weight of silence versus the cost of speaking up. I chose the harder path, but I know it was the right one. Tomorrow will bring more fallout, more pain, more difficult conversations. But at least the truth is finally seeing the light of day. 3 months after the website went live, I sit in the back row of the county courthouse, watching Kyle in his navy blue suit. He looks smaller somehow, hunched forward with his lawyer whispering in his ear. The fluorescent lights make his face look sallow, almost yellow. I barely recognize him as my brother anymore. Jenna sits beside me, her posture rigid. She's wearing a simple black dress and clutching a small photo of Allison in her lap. I've learned that's her ritual for court appearances, keeping her sister present for every moment of justice. The state versus Kyle Bennett, the bailiff announces, and the courtroom settles into silence. Kyle accepted a plea deal last week, 5 years minimum with the possibility of parole after 3, plus mandatory counseling and registration as a sex offender. The other 5 men received similar sentences, though Marcus got less time after his suicide attempt was considered during sentencing. You okay? I whisper to Jenna. She nods slightly, her eyes never leaving Kyle's back. Better than I've been in a long time. The judge enters and we all rise. As I watch the proceedings unfold, the formal reading of charges, Kyle's quiet, guilty plea, the judge's stern admonishment. I think about how much has changed since that night. I discovered Jenna's calendar with START written on it. I haven't spoken to my parents in weeks. After Kyle's confession, they somehow found a way to blame Jenna, blame me, blame everyone except their son. My mother's last text message still sits unanswered on my phone. When you're ready to be part of this family again, we'll be here. But what family demands loyalty to an admitted rapist? What family values their son's reputation over justice for his victims? The judge is speaking now, addressing Kyle directly. The court recognizes your cooperation with authorities and your assistance in the ongoing investigation of similar assaults at your former fraternity. However, the severity of your actions cannot be understated. EBDA as another 55-2, and maybe a stop papal and the clawfic bande 5-2 masters. In actuals to the Kelement, the Kyle nods mechanically, staring at the floor. Your own admission, you not only participated in but documented sexual assaults against multiple young women. You shared these recordings. You encouraged others to participate. I watch my brother's shoulders shake slightly. Is he crying or just trembling? I can't tell from here, and I'm not sure I care anymore. After the sentencing, we file out of the courtroom. In the hallway, Kyle's eyes meet mine briefly before officers lead him away. There's recognition there, and something else, maybe regret, maybe just fear of what comes next. I don't wave, I don't nod, I just watch him go. Coffee? Jenna asks as we exit the courthouse into bright spring sunshine. Yeah, I say. The usual place? The campus coffee shop has become our regular spot since everything happened. The university implemented sweeping changes to their sexual assault policies after Jenna's website went viral. The fraternity was permanently banned, and mandatory consent education is now required for all incoming students. We settle at a corner table, and I notice how different Jenna looks now. Gone is the performative giggling, the hair twirling, the exaggerated femininity she used to adopt around Tyler and the others. This Jenna sits with quiet confidence, her voice steady, her gaze direct. I got my acceptance letter yesterday, she says, stirring her latte. Full scholarship to Northwestern Law. Jenna, that's amazing. I reach across the table to squeeze her hand. When do you start? Fall semester. I'm focusing on victims advocacy and Title IX cases. She smiles slightly. Allison would have been proud, I think. Last month, the university held a memorial service for Allison. Hundreds of students attended, many of whom never knew her, but had been moved by her story. The president announced a new campus resource center for assault survivors, named in Allison's honor. How about you? Jenna asks. Have you decided about next semester? I shrug. Still thinking. My academic advisor suggested taking taking a leave of absence, but honestly, staying busy helps. What I don't say is that school is the only normal thing left in my life. My family is shattered. My childhood memories are tainted. Even my last name feels like something I want to shed. The support group is meeting tonight, Jenna says. You should come. After the website launched, Jenna started a weekly gathering for survivors and allies. What began as 5 people in our living room has grown to over 30 regular attendees using a campus meeting space. I'll be there, I promise. My phone buzzes with a news alert. Former university student sentenced in sexual assault case. Kyle's senior portrait stares back at me from the screen. I turn my phone face down on the table. Sometimes I wonder if I did the right thing, I admit quietly. Not about supporting you. I know that was right, but cutting off my parents completely. Jenna considers this. Families are complicated. Maybe someday they'll understand why you stood with me. Maybe, but I don't believe it. My mother still refers to Jenna as that vindictive girl, and my father maintains that Kyle was just being a boy. You know what I've learned through all this? Jenna says, leaning forward. True strength isn't about being fearless. It's about being terrified and doing the right thing anyway. I think about the night I found her notebooks, the meticulous planning, the courage it took to expose these men, knowing the backlash she would face. When I first met you, I tell her, I thought you were this pick-me girl desperate for male attention. Then I thought you were scary obsessed with revenge. Now I realize you're the strongest person I know. Jenna smiles, a real smile that reaches her eyes. We're both stronger than we knew. As we leave the coffee shop, I notice a flyer for the new campus assault prevention program. The slogan reads, speak up, stand together, start the change. Start. The word that once filled me with dread now feels like a promise. Sometimes the hardest beginnings lead to the most necessary journeys. Ready? Jenna asks, holding the door open. I nod and step into the sunlight beside her. Ready?